Hey guys, I'm Hoshka, and welcome back to part 5 of my beginner's guide to Halo 5 speedrunning. This series is intended to point you in the right direction if you find yourself interested in learning the run. This is primarily targeted towards easy runners, which most of the routing will consist of. But I'll share some legendary tricks from time to time, just in case you thought about trying, or are generally curious. So, let's continue with the game's 5th mission, Unconfirmed. Once you exit the Pelican, thrust forward and take this pad to a splinter grenade we're going to need for the first major encounter. Once you pass these soldiers, clamber over this rail and head up the stairs. Once up here, bounce your 3 frags towards the knight, hopefully killing him, and use your splinter on the second knight. Try to clean up if you can and head over here to grab the rockets. Hit this group of crawlers and jump up here. Aim for the top center of the landing to spawn kill these soldiers and jump up here while reloading. To cross map this guy, I usually aim slightly below this section of railing and fire right before the spawn. Now, over to this guy and these 2 watchers. Once you get the dialogue, head back here to press the button in the prowler, grab yourself a Hydra, and then to the door to wait for it to open. On Legendary, you want to take this path to avoid damage. Jump up here and thrust down towards the fence. Jump on this stack of crates, hover and clamber on top of the fence and thrust to this landing. This is all timing, but run, jump, hover, and try to clamber on the wing of the Pelican, running towards the back of it to avoid a kill barrier. Then thrust up here as the Pelican begins to dock. It's a lot easier than it looks, believe me. Since this skipped the spawn trigger, we can head over here to grab the rockets. Now, just head over to the steps to spawn the enemies in and continue. Once the door opens, jump up here and stabilize to take out the soldiers. All soldiers in this area require 1 headshot to die. Try not to go up the hill too quickly, as it's easy to skip a spawn trigger which can cost you. Once you clamber up here, spawn kill the crawlers with a Hydra, and not a grenade like I did. Now, kill soldiers while you wait for this crawler spawn. And this one. Just finish off the final few soldiers and head for the door. Now, I'm going to explain an out of bounds that you'll see in the easy IL world record. This isn't the optimal path, but it will give you an idea how it works. This is only viable after the prowler button is pressed and the door to the next area begins to open. With that said, head up here, aim for this pipe, and thrust against the top edge of the structure ahead of you. Stabilize and clamber up. Go to the back and clamber up these 2 corners. Now, sprint until you hit a barrier, then jump, stabilize for a sec, turn left, and thrust, and you should be around the barrier. Jump over this barrier and you'll be free on top of the building. Jump to this area. Your next jump wants to make it to this rock. So sprint, jump, stabilize, and ground pound, aiming for this black spot. Aim your reticle where these 2 rocks meet. Now sprint, jump, thrust, stabilize, and ground pound towards the pointed rock on the right. Turn, jump forward, and stabilize a little late to clamber onto this rock. Now, this is probably the most difficult part of the skip. I look to this corner, jump forward, thrust, and stabilize after you go into the geometry. Charge your ground pound before your hover runs out. Look left and thrust while holding the clamber button. And with luck, you should have it. Turn around and look here. Jump forward and stabilize. When it's about to run out, charge your ground pound and thrust to clamber onto the pipe to continue. Now, you want to go from this corner to this corner. So sprint, jump, thrust, hover, and ground pound here. Then immediately jump and thrust over this edge. Hover, then turn around and ground pound back into the map. If you're too slow, or drop too low before you do that, the area will load and you'll be trapped outside the map. Just back up to the door to load the next area and continue. This part is pretty straightforward. Just make a break for the elevator ahead. Once you get here, rather than riding the elevator all the way down, jump off the side and ground pound to the bottom to continue. Say hello to the Warden Eternal. Get to know this guy because you'll learn to hate him later. Run to the top of this ramp and pick up the scatter shot, and drop down here to get your splinter grenades. Once he starts turning, hit him with the splinters and put a few shots into the black circle in his back for a kill. Now, just wait for the dialogue to end and head through the doors to end the mission. But what if you don't want to wait for the dialogue? What if you just want to end the mission after he dies? Well, you can try this. Run up the ramp and get the scatter shot as we did before, but now trade your secondary for the incineration cannon. Assign your team off to the distance and get behind the Warden. Pop his back with 3 shots that aren't point blank. Essentially, the animation you want is the one where he isn't holding a sword. Now, run back here, stand in the center of this barricade, and highlight the Warden. With luck, you'll get this attack and be launched. Thrust towards the back while in the air, stabilize, and try to hit him with an overcharged incineration shot. Then ground pound over a barrier and onto this hallway. If you're standing about halfway back, once the Warden dies, the mission will end as you're standing past the end trigger. And that's all for this one. Once again, I'm Hoshka, and I hope to see you back as we play Glassed in reverse with the game's 6th mission, Evacuation.